Hi cooking cronies! Today I'm going to show you how to make mistletoe cookies. These are my favorite Christmas cookie, and you only need a few ingredients. I've preheated the oven to 325 and we're going to start off with 3 egg whites. So I'm separating my egg whites from the yolk and I'm just placing my yolks on the side. I do 1 egg at a time just in case I mess up any kind of yolk in there and it runs the whole egg white. So I just add 1 at a time to my bowl there, and I'll be adding that to my mixer. I've got my mixer here. I'm going to go ahead and start it, and it's on about just kind of a lower setting, so it's not going too fast, but I am adding my 3 egg whites to my mixer, and then I'm going to turn up that speed, and I'm going to just let that go until it gets a little frothy. That's what my mother-in-law called it, frothy. I call it foamy. You just want some little bubbles to start forming. And I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and turn up my mixer. And now I'm going to let that go for about 45 seconds, and I'm going to let that just get nice and blended, and you can see that it just continues to get that foamy look to it. That's what we want. I'm going to go ahead and let this go in real time so you can get a sense of how long I'm actually beating these, because that really makes a difference in how this turns out. If you've ever made meringue, then this is the same, a very similar process to making meringue for like a meringue pie or meringue cookies. And now I'm adding 1 cup of white sugar. You can see the little granules sort of flying around there. And I've got my mixer going on almost the highest setting is where I'll turn it, because I want this to really beat up well, and it's you don't want peaks like you do meringue, but you want it to be pretty firm. You want it to kind of hold you want it to thicken. You can see how nice and thick this is becoming and how white it is. And the notes that my mother-in-law left me were that you don't want it to get too dry. You still want that wet, glossy look to it. And I have many times made this recipe and it totally flopped. I have found ever since I got my KitchenAid mixer, they come out so much better, and I think it's because I mix it at a higher speed now. I think that really makes a difference. So if you're using a hand mixer or another type of mixer, just go ahead and don't be afraid to really turn that up high to get it blended. And now I'm going to remove it from the stand because the final 2 ingredients will be stirred in just with a big spoon. So now I'm going to add 2 cups of corn flakes. Now I imagine you could substitute corn flakes for something else. You could use, I don't know if you could use Rice Krispies or Special K or other types. I have never tried that because these are a family favorite, and as you probably know, you don't mess with family favorite recipes, especially moms. So I've only ever used cornflakes, but if you do experiment and try some different cereals, Let us know in the comments. I would love to hear that. And once I stir in my 2 cups of cornflakes, I'm going to add 1 cup of milk chocolate chips. And again, I'm sure you could use dark chocolate or Karo chips, whatever you would like to. I do have some of those no sugar added chips, but for this recipe, I'm using just the Nestle just the good old milk chocolate chips. Now I've lined 2 cookie sheets with parchment paper. Before I used parchment paper, I just used a little bit of butter. I would line it with a film of butter and sprinkle flour on top of that, and that worked well too. But the parchment paper is the way to go if you have it. This is going to make about 1.5 dozen, and in my case today it only made 1.5 dozen. So they do puff up, so I'm just dropping them on a cookie sheet with a tablespoon, and they will actually puff up, so you could make them smaller than this to make more if you like, but we like them nice and big. I'm going to place these in the oven, and I've got 2 racks there, so I'm going to put one on the bottom and one on the top. That works really well for this. As you can see, I've sort of overlapped them a little bit, and they're going to cook for 25 minutes at 325 degrees. And this is what you end up with. Nice and fluffy and light. They are so good. They are definitely a family favorite. I make them every year. Let's pop one open here. You can see how chewy they are. And in my opinion, they have corn flakes and egg whites, so that's a breakfast food. We hope you are having a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. We do put videos out every week. Take good care. God bless. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time.